And in terms of illnesses, what illnesses could really benefit from a change in diet?
Yeah, I hate to say practically everything, but practically everything. I have worked with people who not only lost weight, and as you know, if you're overweight, that leads to many illnesses, can lead to heart disease and diabetes and things like that. So, often people want to lose weight. I've had clients that were pre-diabetic that went to normal. Mm-hmm. I've had clients that had high blood pressure and were on medication and went off their medication with regular blood pressure. I've had clients that had high cholesterol and went off their medication with regular cholesterol. So as you can see, that really, diabetes and heart disease, absolutely. Cancer, a lot of people don't think that cancer might be related to food, but it absolutely is. Sugar has been in studies, connected with cancer as an example.
Okay.
Sugar really suppresses the immune system. People don't realize that. If you're sick, absolutely get sugar out of your diet so that you heal more quickly. If you eat a lot of processed sugar, it definitely can not only lead to overweight, obesity, heart disease, diabetes, but even cancer and other things. So cleaning up the diet, and one of the biggest things people bring to me is they don't have enough energy. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest complaint. And people are amazed when they change their diet how much energy they have. They just don't even think it's connected, and it is, food is our fuel. It is absolutely connected with our energy. So those are some of the big things that can change just by having a good, clean diet.
That's great. I think the sugar point is a really big one. I have hypoglycemia, so that's been a big one for me, noticing that so much food has sugar in it, hidden sugar,
Absolutely.
Sugar that you wouldn't expect it to have, mm-hmm. on top of sweets, just ketchup, salad dressings, whatever, that have these hidden ingredients. Great. I'm curious how you feel that diet is connected with spirituality and sort of just wholeness in general. How do you view that?
Well, if going back again to being healthy and well in all areas of life, if you are, I'm not sure the right words, let's say spiritually bankrupt, for example, or just spiritually unsure of where you're at, you may turn to food because it makes you feel good. And if you are aligned, and I am not a specific religion, I work with for some people their spirituality is being out in nature or helping others. So we work with whatever their spirituality is. And so if they're not getting, it's about getting nourishment in your life. So if you're not getting nourished by either your God or divine source or by volunteering and helping others, then you're going to turn to food for comfort and to find that nourishment and to feel good. And so if you can, get your spiritually online and on track to what you want it to be, and that could be, reading New Age books. It could be, like I said, volunteering for a cause or whatever it is. And when you do that, you get so much inside. You feel so great. And you truly get nourished. A good example, think about when you were a kid and I played kick the can. I'm older. So, we would play till 9 o'clock at night. We didn't care that we hadn't eaten since noon because we were getting nourishment playing from our friends, right?
Right.
And so food was just it was secondary nourishment, so primary food is really, is having fun and making connection with friends and making that spiritual connection, being happy in your career, and moving your body. And when you've got all of those things, then food is your fuel and it's not your comfort anymore. And it really, and I'm different from other people who just work with nutrition because of that, of that emotional connection. And it's a real mind shift. You really have this shift. I had a client call me and she's just like, I'm so grateful you're in my life. Because no, this is why I do this work. She's like, I've lost weight and it doesn't even feel like a diet. It doesn't feel like I'm trying. It's easy. And because, and it really, it's making that mind shift. And when you do it, then food just becomes something different to you. It's no longer that, that thing that gives you comfort. It's fuel. You can enjoy it. So.
That, I'd never thought about it in that way, but you're right. When you're doing something that you really enjoy, there's just automatically less focus on what you're eating. Mm-hmm. I mean, I still love and relish food, but
I do too.
but the focus of your day probably, unless you're a cook or something, should not be just on food. Well, this has been really informative. Do you have anything that you'd like to add in terms of what you do, or just a message that you'd like to share with our audience?
Well, one other thing is that I do is called psychological kinesiology.
Okay.
And it's working with people to get to their limiting subconscious beliefs. My business coach used it with me, and so I saw how it helped me with my business and made me realize, we a lot of times are stuck in maybe being overweight or not eating well because we have a subconscious belief from the past. So as an example, women sometimes hold on to their weight because if they lose it, they're afraid they may attract men into their life, and they don't want that. So that keeps them holding on to their weight. And that's a limiting subconscious belief, the belief that if I lose weight, then men are going to come on to me and I have to deal with that, and I don't like that.
Right.
And we can change that subconscious belief so that they can let go of that belief, and then they can let go of the weight.
Right.
So it's it can happen in 5 minutes, and it can be really huge shifts. One of the biggest one is and we always use affirming positive statements, in the present. So I love myself unconditionally is a big one that most people probably can't say and believe subconsciously. Maybe they can consciously, but it's important to know the conscious is 5% of the brain. The subconscious is 95%. So if we're saying I love myself unconditionally, but the subconscious is back there saying no, you don't,
Right.
then it may not be working in our lives. And that one can shift a lot of things, not only weight and the way you eat, but for me it helped shift procrastination, for example. So it's really neat to be able to, that's a tool that I use. And people can choose whether they want to use that as part of their program, but most people do, and that really helps with that mind shift. So that's really awesome. Also want to just say too that I do seminars, and one of the new ones that's coming out is listening to and loving your body. So the cleanse is one that I do as a group, but this new one I think is so nice. People that may not want to have the commitment to sign up for the 6-month program can just do individual seminars. And so listening to and loving your body is a place to start really looking at, okay, how can I get to that place of not being run by my emotional eating or compulsive eating or, whatever you want to call it. And some people, especially men, seem to say, well, I'm not an emotional eater because, I'm not emotional, right? But emotional eating or compulsive eating is really just eating when you're not hungry. So it's eating when you're stressed, lonely, bored, for reasons other than you're truly hungry. And so there's always other reasons behind that, and they're typically, subconscious beliefs or eating for comfort, that kind of thing. So I think this new seminar is going to be really fun. And again, my big thing is I'm truly passionate about what I do. I love helping people, and I get such great feedback from clients that they say, yeah, I can really tell that you are passionate, this is what you love. They have said, I'm non-judgmental, really help with their awareness and bring that mind shift and change in relationship with food. So it's just, and I'm happy if anyone would ever just want to have a question and just want to talk to me, call me up on the phone. Absolutely happy to just have a quick conversation with anybody, so, as well as that first consultation that's free. So.
Great. Well, thank you for your openness, and I just love your approach. I'm going to go ahead and post information on how to contact Susan on my website, so you can look for that. But did you want to mention your web address or an easy way to get a hold of you?
Sure. My email is susan@balancedhc.com. My company is Balanced Health Counseling. And the website is balancedhc, balancedhc.com. And then other information is on the website. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on our show.
Thanks. I appreciate it.